Good morning, everybody. Let's get this day started with a little grocery haul. I have been absolutely loving the Walmart Plus. For so long, I was like, who would do that? Well, I am now the who. I placed an order last night, and I was able to choose between 7 and 9 this morning, and the guy got here at about 20 to 8. And it's just perfect. I actually find I am spending a lot less on groceries because I'm not going in and, it seems like I always have a kid with me and they're like, oh, can we get fruit snacks? Oh, can we get chips? Oh, can we get this? I literally just buy the things that I need for the meals, and I'm like, you know what? We can make snacks. We are all very capable of mixing ingredients and making snacks. All right, they did have to substitute 2 5-pound bags of russet potatoes. Not a big deal. So, as you know, I pulled out that meat that we, I'm really going to start working through that chest freezer in the garage. And so anyway, I just needed a few groceries to kind of keep that meal plan going. I got 1 pack of hot dog buns. We'll have a campfire one of the days and do some of those sausage links or brats or whatever. It was actually less expensive. It's also easier, I notice, to compare prices online versus at the store, because sometimes the tag at the store doesn't have the per ounce price, or they might do it per pound and then the other brand is per ounce. I don't know, it's just easier. Like, also, I would not normally go and look at the organic carrots, but online the organic and the regular carrots popped up, and it was much cheaper. Not much, but I mean, I think it was about like 50 cents less to get 2 pounds of organic whole carrots than it was to get 2 pounds of regular carrots, so I went with that. I decided with the pork hocks, I'm going to do split pea and ham soup. So I got some split peas for that. I needed some more cupcake liners. And then here are the biscuits that I got for the biscuits and gravy, like the sausage gravy. And then some more Crisco. I've run out of nuts. I've been doing some baking lately and have run out of nuts. And so here again, I just checked price per ounce. This was the best price per ounce on chopped pecans. It was the Great Value. And this was the best price per ounce on walnuts. It was the Fisher brand. So that's what I went with. Sugar, and then some all-purpose flour. I had just run out of instant rice. I don't use this very often, just in a couple of casseroles, but I do like to keep it on hand, so when I want to make those chicken and rice casseroles, I have it. Some spaghetti, because again, we had just run out. We had spaghetti this last week, and I made quite a bit of sauce, so we ended up going through an entire 2-pound box of spaghetti, and then some French onion soup again, and cream of mushroom soup again. This is going to be for when I make some pork chops. That is everything this morning. Not a huge... Oh, I also have... This is amazing, too. I'm ready to do my workout here this morning. That's why... whatever. I also have a 2 cubic foot bag of potting soil coming. It allowed me to order it, but it didn't come with this delivery. It said it would be delivered later. I don't understand why, but anyway, I thought, great, that will be delivered at some point today, and then I can finish potting up the rest of my flowers. Also, I guess I just didn't even film any of this last night, but I did make 2 loaves of sandwich bread, so we're going to be going on a bike ride today. We're going to trailer the bikes to the Green Circle Trail and do probably about a 10-mile portion of the Green Circle Trail today, and I wanted to be able to... We have lunch meat, so I made some bread. I got this into the bread machine before we went to Cranberry Creamery last night, and then when we got home I shaped it, and it was cold in the house. It took forever to rise. I was up so late waiting for it to rise, and I still didn't think it rose exactly as much as I had hoped. Anyway, that was that. Warren and I each cut a slice off because he had to run for Frost last night, and he came in at midnight. I was still up. He came in at midnight and he's like, could I have a slice? I'm like, of course you can. It's not, I don't have enough space to unhook it.
About down.
Yep. Right, well this seemed to work well.
Yeah, it did.
This actually worked really well.
Where'd you get it?
We used to have this in the garage, remember, for the bikes?
Oh yeah.
Years ago. It's just been upstairs in the shed for a while, so...
Oh yeah.
All right.
You want to hook the camel one?
Yep. Joe, that's Dad's backpack.
Yeah, you don't want to keep it. Where are the boys?
I was gonna say, where's Joe?
Right there. Is that him behind the... That's Joe.
I don't know. Oh, that's Joe over there. Come on, Joe, let's eat.
Let's eat. When we get along the river, it'll cool down.
Oh, yeah.
And we're off. Joe needed a little coaxing, but he decided, yep, he's gonna bike, which is a good thing because none of us were ready to go home.
Hey, how's that? Big rubber gloves. I picked it up. I got pictures of it. Might be a raccoon in there, maybe a black bear.
We made it to the sculpture park.
That's like somebody was building an ice house and a windstorm came up and he said, ah, heck with it.
Let's just leave it.
Sam and Maria.
Oh,
came out
nice,
my
Joe.
Like I come in peace.
What do you say?
Come in peace. All right, Joel. Hey, tip here. Let's go. Hey, tip here. Come in peace.
All right, we made it. We made it to ice cream. Joe has a little war wound. It was rough, but he won, basically, right? He's upright. All right. Yep, we are at Belts. We are going to have ice cream. Little fun fact, if you're from the Stevens Point area, I actually worked at Belts Ice Cream for about 3 years in my late high school, early college years. We made it back.
Yes, we did.
How was it?
Good.
Good?
It was a good run.
It was a good run. What is your, other than Joe's accident, but how many miles did it say we went?
Roughly 11, 12 miles.
11 to 12? That's great, because other years we did between 9 and 10, and then we would do the trail in 3 different days. So we do about 9 to 10 miles each day, or each trip.
How many did we do?
Like 11 or 12 a mile.
Yeah, Sam says 11 to 12. So that was a good ride.
Yeah.
Okay, bring it down.
And Stevens Point is a very active outdoor town, isn't it?
Oh, what?
Very active outdoor town.
No.
There's so much activity. Bikers, walkers, runners, dogs, kayakers, campers.
Yeah, get up here.
Over here? Or here?
No, up here.
Come on in, Alon.
Good morning and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. I'm in the kitchen. Oh, this is a country life. I am in the kitchen today, and in my last video you saw I was like organizing, Maria and I were organizing the garage chest freezer, and I found some different cuts of meat that I was like, you know what, I have one of this, one of this, one of this. I need to use this up. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm starting out today's video. I'm going to be starting by getting a bunch of these meat things prepped. If you're here for the very first time, let me show you what I'm talking about. I do have more pork sausage, but I just had one in that freezer. So I have this pork sausage out to thaw. I also thawed these pork hocks. I have 1 package of pork spare ribs and 1 package of beef short ribs. I'm gonna work through as much of this as I can here today. It's already 10 after 11. It's chilly again. It's only 64 degrees right now. I have some things to do outside, but I also need to do this food. So in that last video, I think I mentioned to you that I was going to make this into biscuits and gravy, but I had forgotten that I had another recipe earmarked for my last meal plan. It is a, it's called like brunch pizza squares or something like that. Hadn't made it in a long time. And look, this popped open in the fridge. So now I have this to deal with. It still smells good. It must have just popped open yesterday or the day before. I'm hoping it's going to work out good enough. I'm going to get this pressed into a pan, and I'll show you how brunch pizza squares go. Another reason I want to do the brunch pizza squares, or is that what it's called, brunch pizza squares? Let me find my recipe here. Yes, they are called brunch pizza squares. Okay. So the reason I want to make these is because it also takes eggs, and I have 9, 10, 11 dozen eggs right now. Our chickens are laying anywhere from 9 to like 16, 17 eggs a day. It doesn't take long, even though we're using eggs, it doesn't take long to get that many dozen in the fridge. This only takes 4 eggs, but still, it's better than nothing.
Huh?
I said, please put away the dishes.
Huh?
Let's get on an apron. You guys, I have a couple of these aprons available for sale right now. I think.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think I have like 2 still available. So if you are interested in a Since I'm in the Kitchen apron, you can head on over. You can check down in the description. I always have my website in there. All right, Joe. Let's give a little face update. So remember, we were biking in the last video, and we had a little accident. You want to tell us about the accident at all? No, not really. It was, but he looks a lot better. Oh, you're gonna bite me? What's with that, Dr. Pepper? Yeah, looks a lot better today, and he's in much better spirits today. So, do you feel better today, Joe?
No.
You don't feel better today? Let's get this pork sausage going. Alright, we're going to lightly grease.
Oh no.
And then we are going to try our darndest to get this spread out.
Oh no.
But you know what happens when a biscuit can pops open? They sort of start to dry out a little. They're harder to unwrap and all of that. But we're gonna figure this out. I feel like I almost need a smaller pan. Yeah, this isn't. And this pan is a smidge. It's literally like a 1/4 inch bigger than a 9 by 13 pan. So that kind of makes it hard to work with too. All right, that's not bad. Not fabulous, but not bad. When you're doing a lot of cooking, a great tip is to get your garbage can, get it right next to where you're going to be, so that you can just keep filling it with trash rather than constantly having to open and close the cupboard door, or I guess wherever you keep your garbage. There's the pork sausage, and now we're just going to pour this egg over the top. I am going to scrape this, and we're going to top it with some cheese, just 3/4 cup, and bake this up. 15 minutes, 400 degrees, or until the crust seems like it's done. Maria has joined me in the kitchen now. She is making... What are you making?
Rhubarb slash punch.
Yes.
You know.
Starting with frozen rhubarb, so she's got that kind of going over here on low, right?
Yeah.
And you're just gonna go and
please.
just kind of let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Until it kind of thaws. Yes, Joe is still putting away dishes. There you go. There were a lot of dishes because we didn't do them at all over the weekend. Yes,
Should
question.
the orange juice be in the juice form?
Juice form, correct. And the lemonade should be in the juice form.
Okay.
Okay. I realized that since I was starting at 11:10, it does not pay to start the ribs, the pork or the beef ribs, because they need to go all day on a very, very low heat. I can't remember if I do 200 or 250, like all day, 9 hours or something. So anyway, that I'm going to just set aside for tomorrow. But I am going to start in on split pea and ham soup. So in my stock pot here, I have an onion with a little bit of salt and a couple of tablespoons of butter. I should probably start stirring that around. I'm just going to let this saute. And while that sautés, I'm going to start chopping up my other vegetables. The split pea and ham soup recipe is on page 11 in Cookbook Volume 1. And this is just how my grandma made split pea and ham soup. She always, well, I think I wrote it here. I didn't have any idea how to do it. I called my grandma and scribbled this down as she rattled off the ingredients. She didn't even have to look it up. That's the kind of cooks that there used to be, right? Where everything was just like in their head. All right, so I already have the onion and the butter. In a little bit, I will mince up or in a little bit, I'll add the garlic. But right now, yes, I need to dice up 2 carrots and 1, if it's a nice big celery rib, or a couple of them. I'm going to do 2 ribs of celery simply because celery is one of my top favorite vegetables, especially in soups and casseroles and things like that. I just love it so much. So let's do 2.
It's still very frozen.
Yeah, it's going to be frozen for probably a half hour, honey.
Okay. Master bar strain. Insert juice and discard pulp. Add sugar. I don't know. That 4 years ago.
After the onion sauteed, I put in a teaspoon of minced garlic. I actually was at the bottom of my little jar, so I just added some water to it and shook it around and dumped that in. I put in 2 bay leaves, 7 cups of water, and what else did I do? Oh, and a little thyme. Now the recipe calls for a 1/4 teaspoon. That's what my grandma said. Over the years of making this, I have realized that we're not huge fans of thyme, and so I only put in probably 1/8 of a teaspoon. Just a few shakes, and that will be plenty for us. Now I'm going to get the ham hocks opened. If you had a leftover ham bone, this would be the time you'd throw that in. If you don't have a leftover ham bone, there are some other things. Let me just tell you. So if you had a ham steak, you could chop that up and throw that in. You wouldn't even have to throw the meat in yet. You could just throw the bone in at this point, and let it just kind of simmer away for whatever it says, 45 minutes or something like that. You could do that. If you had a little, like just leftover ham and you didn't have any bone, but you had a little ham gravy, you could throw the ham gravy in place of some of the water. That would be really, really good and flavorful. So there are some options. You just kind of are looking for that good ham flavor, and there's a lot of ways to achieve good ham flavor.
Ooh,
Hey, is it cooking down?
look, it's all soft.
Oh, great.
So I can start boiling?
Yeah,
Yay! Put it on high.
sure.
Get it nice and
Oh, those smell so good. Don't they smell good?
interesting.
Doesn't
They
it just smell like
smell
ham?
good.
Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells just like ham.
Whenever I smell something that has like a very smell to
Yeah.
it, I'm like, what if that was a candle?
Smoked pork
That would be
hocks.
gross.
Candle, that would be horrible.
Candle.
All right, let's,
You know, there's like a
that
hot
wouldn't be a
dog
bad
candle.
candle. You don't think that would be a bad candle?
I think it would be bad.
Yeah, I think boys would like meat-smelling candles. Let me get to my recipe.
I like rosemary.
Oh, I suppose I should probably put the peas in at this point too. I rinsed the peas, ran my hands through them to make sure that there was no stones. There was like one little, I don't know, piece of chaff of something, so I threw that out. Let's get the peas in, bring this to a boil. I'm going to cover it and let it simmer for 45 minutes. I just pulled out the ham hocks. I'm going to get the celery and carrots in there now and then let that simmer for another 30 minutes. I do need to let this cool just a bit so I can handle it. I'll pull all the meat off and put the meat back in. And if I need to, I can add a little bit more water with a little bit of like chicken bouillon if I need to, or just a little water with a little extra salt and pepper to make it the consistency that I want it to be. Vegetables simmering, still have 10 minutes to go, but I figured I would just put the ham back in. And just FYI, if you are cooking down the pork hocks, longer on simmering is better. I could have let them go another half an hour, then taken them out and pulled off the meat, but anyway, I did it a little bit early. So we're gonna get all of this meat back in there, and then I've got a little bit here. Some of the peas came out too. Well, let's get that in there, let that simmer. At this point, I'm going to make this recipe called Health Nut Blueberry Muffins. I'm pretty sure this is a recipe that Amber had found when she was living at home, you know, when she was in her Pinterest phase. She still is a Pinterest girl. I'm pretty sure this is one that she found. I just happened to find it in my recipe box and I thought, let's give it a try. Over here, I have all of the dry ingredients ready to go. So we have white flour, whole wheat flour, wheat germ, oatmeal, oat bran, white sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I think that's everything that's in here. All right, Amber and Tony were here to pick up Eska, so it's been a little bit, but I'm getting back to it. So I just put in the walnuts and the blueberries into the dried mixture over here. And now over here I have one smashed banana. I need to put in a cup of buttermilk, 1 egg, a tablespoon of oil, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to get my oven preheating to 350. Kind of mash up the banana a little bit more. My bananas were just barely ripe, so they're not super smashy. It says pour the wet ingredients into the dry. I like to do it just all at once, and then I'm going to fold everything in. All right, just get this folded in. You don't want to over mix any kind of quick bread or muffin batter. If you want a nice rounded top, just lightly stir. Unless the recipe says blend well. Some are more of a cake-like and they need to get the air into the batter. So basically just follow the directions. But if it doesn't say anything, just lightly mix. These smell really good. I think that addition of vanilla is a nice touch. Whoa. And to get them as even as possible, I'm going to use my scoop here. The recipe specifically says to fill these all the way to the top. By doing that, it did only make 12 muffins. At first, as I was filling, I'm like, this is going to make a lot more than 12. But I read the recipe. It says filling all the way to the top, so that's what I did. All right, my oven preheated to 350. These have to go in at 15 to 18 minutes, or until the tops spring back. I'm using a dark pan. Now normally with a dark pan I would drop the temperature down. I would normally do that if the muffins called for 375 or 400, or even some muffins call for 425. If they called for a higher temp like that, then I would drop it back 25 degrees. Usually with 350 I don't. And for these, I'm not going to, because this is the first time I've really made these muffins. Maybe Amber made them years ago, but I don't really remember the outcome. So I just kind of wanted to follow the directions as best I could today. These muffins ended up being in for 22 minutes, and because it said it should just spring back, and this was finally, like, that one even feels a little bit soft. Anyway, if we really like these and it becomes a recipe that I want to make again, I will make them smaller and make more than a dozen, because I can already tell you, since these rose way up, well, maybe they're not going to stick. Okay, it looks like they're not. I was worried they were going to stick to the pan and really make kind of a mess, but it looks like it's okay. I still would prefer the muffins like this one. Anyway, I just prefer where I can like see the muffin liner and the muffin top is just kind of like a nice little puff. Not a big deal. I'm sure these are still going to be tasty. Stuck a lot to the liner, so maybe grease the pans next time instead of using a liner. Ooh, those are hot. Here are the brunch pizza squares. We're just letting these cool for a little bit before we slice those or cut them into squares. We have the soup warming over here, and we've got some chicken patties, the chicken, like chicken burgers, and then over here were the brat patties, but they're done already. Well, good morning. I'm keeping this vlog going because I said I was going to make a rhubarb cake, and I really want to make that in this video. What? So let's make a rhubarb cake. The rhubarb cake I wanted to make, though, I'm not making. So recently, the email newsletter that was sent out to you guys included rhubarb recipes, and I had requested if anyone had a good rhubarb recipe to share it, reply to that email with their rhubarb recipe, and somebody did, and I was going to make that. So if you recently sent me a rhubarb recipe that you said also could be used as an apple cake, please resend that email to me. I don't know what happened to it. I'm thinking it was on email where it came from. I've searched trash, I have searched, I knew I opened it, so I have looked at every single opened email that I have in my inbox. I cannot find it. But in that searching, I found that Lynn sent me a rhubarb recipe in 2023. It's also a rhubarb cake. It may be similar, I don't know. But what I need to do here is to chop up 4 cups of rhubarb. I had pulled some rhubarb the other day. Nice, tender little pieces. It cut up like a dream. But then I didn't have quite 4 cups, so I have some frozen rhubarb here, and I'm going to use some of this frozen rhubarb to get that up to 4 cups. I really only need a little bit. This is almost 4 cups. I would say that's about 3 to 3.5. Okay, that looks good. Shortening or margarine, a 1/2 cup. So we're going to do shortening here. Come on. Combine brown sugar and shortening or margarine in 1.5 cups of brown sugar.
Use my
Then it said to take a cup of milk, add a teaspoon of baking soda to it, and let it sit for 5 minutes. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of vanilla. It says to grease and flour, so I'm going to use this baking spray. Our 5 minutes is up. We'll pour that baking soda milk in. I need 2 cups of milk with the 4 cups of rhubarb. Everything gets mixed right in here. 2 cups. There's 1 cup. There's a 2nd cup. And put the rhubarb in. Fold that in. I really love working with this early tender rhubarb. It's so pretty. It's a lot more pinkish red when it's young. It starts to get a little green and bigger and a little bit woodier. Yeah, when it's nice and new and tender like this, ooh, it's just so pretty. This is going to be really, really pretty. I'm spreading it out, and now it needs to have a topping. Brown sugar, a half a cup of brown sugar, and I think a teaspoon of salt. Let me just see here, which is an interesting combination to me. Yeah, a half cup brown sugar with some salt. I'm not going to pack the brown sugar just because I feel like there's going to be plenty of sugar. And then salt, a whole teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm going to go with it. There's a half teaspoon. You guys know how Warren likes salty desserts. Not like salted caramel or salted dark chocolate, not that kind of thing, but like a cookie that's made with shortening and then a lot of salt. He really likes that kind of flavor. So the fact that this has shortening in it and a teaspoon and a half of salt, it does have a lot of sugar. So sometimes you do need enough salt to kind of cut the sugar a little bit so that it's doesn't seem quite so sweet. Which to me just seems like, why do we add all that sugar then? Why not just add less sugar and less salt? I don't know. Anyway, okay, we got that nice and mixed. I don't want a big salty bite. Lynn, I'm trusting you on this. She said this is a recipe she got from her neighbor who has passed away and was just like a favorite. So I just keep mixing this. All right, that's good. Now we're gonna put this over top. $350 degrees for 40 minutes. I never got the ribs into the oven again, and I was thinking about it early this morning. I did my workout and then I came in, we had coffee, and I completely forgot about it. So the ribs are going to have to go in the oven for tomorrow. Dun dun dun. So I was just looking this over, trying to figure out what it is that we're going to have here coming up, and I decided that we're going to do pork chops coming up, and we're going to do the sausage gravy with biscuits. So I ran down to the basement, grabbed the meat. I found pork chops, so I have 8 pork chops here, and then I also have a pound of pork sausage. So that'll be kind of the meals coming up after we do the ribs. A little update on the meals that we made yesterday. Do you remember, Joe, the muffins? Those blueberry muffins? Did you like those blueberry muffins?
Oh, so delicious.
Okay, they were delicious, thanks. How about those brunch, the little brunch pizza squares that have the sausage and the egg and the cheese? Remember you just had the leftovers here for breakfast?
I don't know.
Did you like that? You did like it? Okay. And what else did we have? Did you have any of the split pea and ham soup last night? No, okay. Oh, and then we had the brat patties and the chicken patties. Did you like those things?
No.
You didn't like the brats or the chicken?
No.
Having the oven on is warming up the house. At least right here where I'm standing, it feels so good because again, we have another, it's 55 degrees here at 11:30. And it's cold, it's rainy. Anyway, our mini golf outing got canceled, or I should say postponed until tomorrow. But here's the cake, 40 minutes. It seems perfectly done. It's got a little spring to it. It smells so good. We are going to sign out tonight, yesterday and today's video, with a little bit of supper here. So we just did a very quick toast, eggs, bacon, hash browns, bacon, just all of it. So good. And then we're also going to have some of this rhubarb cake. This is a very good recipe. I think I can share it with you guys. And yeah, very, very good. Super moist. Very moist cake. So it's like It's almost like a pudding cake, I would almost say. Very, very good. It does not need a glaze. I do think it could be really good with a little, like with a little whipped cream. That would be very, very good, especially if the whipped cream was not sweetened. I think that would be great. Okay, but I don't have that. But rhubarb. Where is that going to go on the plate, huh? Going to go right there. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all in the next video.